We're just trying to keep them from tarring you and feathering you.
So it's been an amazing year.
Yes?
I get satisfied with thoughts,
Yes?
and I get a little stuck on the how and the why.
Say again?
I get a little stuck on the how and the why.
So listen to what we were saying earlier. If your intention is to quiet your mind and receive a thought and to feel the satisfaction of the thought, that satisfaction doesn't mean how, where, when, who. That satisfaction means I'm satisfied, I'm happily ever aftering. But when you try to jump too soon over here to this manifestation, which is where all those how and where and when and who questions come, well, you've just jumped too far and you've jumped into resistance and you've slowed it all down. So we recommend meditating on Monday and going as far as you can go into the day, and then meditating on Tuesday and going as far as you can go into the day, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday, and each day you will find yourself more full of more manifestations until a how will occur to you with such power that it won't be a question, and when won't be a question either. It'll be, I know what to do and I'm going to do it now. Does that make sense to you? Conceptually, it makes sense. Now, we're asking a lot of you here today. In many cases, we're asking you to conceptually absorb this. Because if you haven't been meditating and you haven't felt your vibrations turn to thoughts, and you don't know what we mean when that thought comes to you and is so satisfying, you remember that, don't you? It's happened to you where a thought feels so good and then you told someone. You told someone who thinks you're a deadbeat. And you could feel the power of your thought, and then you blabbed to somebody and they pointed out to you, what makes you think you can do that? I've heard those things from you before. And so the key, you're getting it, is you want to get some momentum going. Don't talk to others. They don't know. They don't know what you've put in your vortex. They don't know who you are. They don't know how you feel. They don't know that you've meditated. They don't know that you've quieted your mind. They don't know that you've tick, 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 listen to the clock, listen to the drip. They don't know how tuned in you are. They don't know that this vibration is turned to a powerful thought. They don't know that your desire is evolving and will evolve to full manifestation, because they're taking score. They're looking at the manifestation right now. Can't do that. Can't do that. If you planted that corn, you wouldn't be out there the next day stomping on the ground. Where are you? Digging it up and just eating it. You wouldn't do that. You would give it a chance, wouldn't you?
Now, the why. Does it have to be one why, or it can be many whys, many reasons of what I want that?
It's never only one. It's always many, 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 many. Because you've lived a lot of life. You've put that creation together over more time than you even understand time is. You were born with so much already in your vortex, and then you've lived life, and you put a piece of it and another and another and another and another, and this vortex, this vibrational reality, has been gathering all of the cooperative components. And so it has been gestating and becoming and maturing and getting ready for your reception. And so much is ready for your reception. Do you know? Enough is ready for your reception right now to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. Enough is ready right now. The question is, are you ready for it? And the answer is usually no. Because you're not in the receptive mode. You're in the where is it mode. You're in the I need it mode. You're in the blame or guilt mode or disappointed mode. So you got to get in the receptive mode. And the way you get in the receptive mode is by not being in the receptive mode. That's very powerful. You got to stop doing that thing you do that doesn't let you be there. Ooh, that's so tricky. Because you can't stop doing that thing. You can't stop doing that thing. So you got to start doing other things, like meditate. You got to start doing other things that allow your momentum to move. Have you ever had the experience where something happened in your life, which is even better than meditation? It's falling in love with someone. And as you're giving that person your nearly undivided attention and your heart is singing, you're in the receptive mode. Have you ever been in love like that and everything in your life just starts getting better because you stop thinking about all those things that were screwed up? So you can find anything that you can focus on that makes you feel good will allow this same evolution. We are not asking you to put your head in the sand and meditate at all, although it's not a bad idea. What we are asking you to do is to meditate and feel your progress, and meditate and feel your progress, and meditate and feel your progress until you begin to feel your serenity and your security and your well-being and your blessedness. And under those conditions, under that fertile soil condition, your desire will become increasingly visible to you. Oh, we know. Esther said to us, she says it frequently, but she said to us a while ago, Abraham, I know that you want me to be excited about the feeling. There was sarcasm. The feeling of the vortex. Yeah. I read the book. But I have to tell you, when something manifests, I like it so much. I like it so much. I like the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version of it so much. Of course you do. It's what you came for. But if you don't have it and you're disappointed that you don't have it, you can't get it. You've got to find a way to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, which means you got to find a way to be satisfied where you are, and then satisfied with where you are, and then satisfied where you are, and satisfied with where you are. And we know when it bursts into that manifestations where you and everybody can see it, that's going to be an extra big satisfaction, but it's going to be pretty short-lived. Haven't you noticed? Esther bought a new car and it made her happy for the afternoon. And it's kind of like that. And so in order to live happily ever after, you have to get into that realization that this is satisfying and this is satisfying and this is satisfying. And you can have so many things that are in different stages of maturation that are satisfying you on different levels, and then they begin dovetailing with one another until you begin to realize that you have in your hands the leverage of this energy that creates worlds, and that it is working for you. That's how the big things that you were born to experience begin to happen.
One more question about emotions.
Guidance, about vibrational sensing, about awareness of the mix of what I'm doing with my desires and my beliefs. That's what an emotion is. Abraham, I want to ask you a question about my vibrational guidance that tells me about the mix of my desire and my belief. Yes?
What about the resistance? Because
say again?
What about the resistance?
Well, resistance is just a belief that contradicts a desire. Many of your beliefs don't contradict your desires, but some of them do. And you can tell, especially after you meditate, you can tell, you'll get really sensitive. Sometimes people will say after they've meditated for a little while, hey, Abraham, is it normal for all hell to break loose in my life? And we say, just a little bit, for a little while, because you're more sensitive to vibration. So you meditate and you get it going, and then you come out of your meditation back into the manifested world where manifested things show up, and you have your knee-jerk reactions to them. And the wonderful thing about that is, while you're having your knee-jerk reaction to them, these things that aren't quite the way you want them to be, you're putting more desire into your vortex. So this new experience is now factoring in this new desire. So next time you meditate, that's now factored in, which means it just gets better and better and better and better and better and better. Until after a little while, you're not even taking score about the manifestations because the satisfaction factor is so wonderful. And it's so important that we say this to you, and it's so important that you hear it. And so we're going to keep saying it until you hear it. If you can find satisfaction long before it's manifested, and notice it, and then more, and then notice it, then you are one of the people who has a chance of living happily ever after. Because if you need your desires to be manifested before you're happy, you can't ever get there. Because You've got to let them manifest. And if they haven't yet manifested and therefore you're blocking them, then there's always going to be something that's causing you to not be in the flow of that. Does that make sense to you? So you can go through life for years or decades, for a long, long time, with not much changing. It's different faces and different places, but pretty much the same thing keeps happening, because you're responding to what is and getting more of what is, and responding to what is and getting more of what is. So it happens. You notice that you offer a vibration. That's your point of attraction. You get more. You notice that you offer a vibration. You get more. You notice it. So what we're talking about here is no longer having those knee-jerk reactions to what is, which is the only way what is can improve for you. And we've explained to you more clearly than ever before why it is. We've been saying to you for a long time, you never get it done. And the reason you never get it done, so here you're sifting and sorting, and you launch these desires, and then you think about what you want and why you want it, and you meditate, and you become finally a vibrational match to what's in your vortex, and ooh, it clicks into place, and it unfolds so rapidly, and now you're living it. Bam, you've got the manifestation of it. It's parked in your garage. It's sleeping in the bed with you. And now, along with that manifestation, you have a whole new set of contrasting experiences. So you're launching another rocket of desire that you are not yet a vibrational match to. But as you let go of those contradictory beliefs and you become a vibrational match to it, then it too manifests, or better said, it too is received incrementally by you as you, in your receptive mode, allow it to turn from vibration to thought and thought to thing. It's so much fun to have your hands in this clay. It's so much fun to be the deliberate creator of your own experience. And it's so not much fun to be creating by default. So when you talk about what you want and why you want it, often you can get into that emotional place, because emotions are manifestations. And so you could talk about why you want it. It makes me happy to think about it. It makes me feel satisfied. That you won't get into much vibrational trouble talking about what you want and why you want it. That usually lets it evolve. But if you start talking too soon about how and where and when and who, then you contradict your own vibration. You're like a train. Imagine you are a train on flat land, and you have a desire, and it's like you plunk an engine down that's going that way towards your desire. But then in your realism, as you examine your life and where you are in relationship to that desire, often in the not being there, you plunk down an engine equal in power going in the opposite direction. That's what resistance is. I want it, but. And most people, you've been trained to be so objective. You weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. You face reality instead of creating reality. And so you contradict your own desires, and then you don't feel good, and you don't realize that that negative emotion is your indicator that you are not allowing yourself to receive. Haven't you wondered? You must have, as you hear us and others talking about law of attraction and manifestations, and you look around your world and you realize how your economic is more, and there's just more, and yet there are no pipelines from other planets. There's no railways. In other words, the manifestations are developing from what you've all got going on here, because the manifestations, these tangible manifestations, are your vibrational perceiving. Everything is as you perceive it to be. And we know that's hard to accept or hear when there are tangible things that have manifested that you all can sort of kind of agree on. But if you would notice that often you're walking down the same street with someone else and you're having an entirely different experience than they are having. You are perceiving very individually. And when you start allowing your personal human perception to dovetail with the perception that your source has about the things that are important to you, when you get it, that your inner being is flowing with you right out here on this leading edge. You're not out here being tested. You're out here leading the way, and all that is non-physical is there with you, supporting you in whatever it is that you're asking for.